Hello, everybody. I'm Jeremy Pope, and this is Jason Kanigan with theclosingengine.com. And we've got something for you today that'll help you or your sales team close more high-ticket sales on the phone. Today's topic is give yourself the short end. And what we mean by that is a couple of different things. There are several reasons to do this, but this is almost more of a mindset thing than a technique thing today. The first part of that mindset is I succeed when I give. This is something that we notice very consistently with, with everything that we do. And one author who talks about this kind of mindset extensively is a fellow named Michael Port, the Book Yourself Solid guy. He's absolute dynamite. I recommend him very highly. His books are fantastic. But when I go out and I'm prospecting for new business, if I'm going out and I find myself in a what can I get, I need, I want kind of mindset, nothing happens. Nothing happens because that is not authentic to the way that I feel I ought to be. Now, there may be some people that can make that work for them, but I would bet you if you're watching this video, you are not one of those people. What works for me is going into that giving mentality. Now, I'm not talking about giving everything away, but having the mindset that, we're not talking about free consulting here. Jason, do you want to, maybe you can clarify the difference between free consulting and the other people deserve to have this that we talked about before? I think you can say that better than I can.
You want to be radiating goodness, right? So you have expertise,
Yes.
You have knowledge, and you want to be like a little sun, you know?
Uh-huh.
You're giving warmth and sunshine to everybody, right? And so that you know what you know, and you can give that. There's another book called The Go Giver that people can read that gets into this. And so, I talked with a guy last week who came to me, and he was looking at getting somebody to help him with his webinar to sales call funnel setup, right? And I talked to him for about an hour on the phone and gave him what I thought would be good for qualifying and some steps to lead up to those sales calls being done, right?
Right.
Which is where we could step in,
Right,
and then work on the fulfillment after that.
Yeah, if they're not ready for us, they're not ready.
I didn't feel like I was doing any free consulting at all. I was just radiating the goodness that I had to give to the guy. And besides, even though I gave him the plan, he still didn't really want to implement it. I know it's a week later, and I just talked to him yesterday, and he hadn't done a whole lot about it, which means he could well come back to me and say, hey, Jason, I need help implementing this.
Right.
So you can give away a lot, and they still don't really know how to do it. Let's put it that way. So, but you're radiating this goodness, and I think that's the main point that I'd like people to take away.
Yeah, that makes sense. The second point in this is that it's really powerful positioning on a sales call. I can afford to give more than I'm receiving in return. That's incredibly powerful positioning. And going to that mindset on the sales call puts you in a position of leverage. I have everything I need. Some sales trainers put it in other ways. They put it in terms of like Sandler, which is one sales trainer style that we really enjoy here because of its nurturing methods in most ways. They talk about, I'm financially independent, I don't need the business. And that's part of what can help get you to this mindset. This is a much more thorough mindset than theirs is. But I can afford to give. I'm fine to give because it's not going to hurt me. And so when somebody feels that you're coming from that place, boy, they talk about creating a low pressure sales call where somebody sells themselves. They feel that giving from you. Jason, we talk about the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And when they feel it from the very beginning, they know you're going to be that way throughout the whole process. What else do you have about this slide?
Well, again, look at how it gets you out of the mindset of desperation.
Yeah,
instantly. It's like flicking a light switch on,
it
right? The
is.
light and darkness can't coexist in the same place. It's like
Right.
I can't be desperate and be giving.
Yeah.
It's not possible, right?
Right.
So when you're doing this, I want you to think about, as far as any worries about free consulting, and anybody who's followed me for any length of time knows I'm really kind of harsh about that, right? Is like you could have this much to give, right? And you could
Right.
give away like 3/4 of that on the call for
Yeah.
free, right? But then they could pay you massively for that last quarter.
Right.
Think about it that way if you have to, right?
Yeah.
You're still giving, 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 and there's always more to sell or make money off of or to generate revenue from.
Yeah.
So you're not limited. You're not cut off in the way that some people might think.
Yeah, it's an unlimited mindset. You can't hurt yourself by being a giver. You really can't. Not in the short term, not in the long term. You can get hurt once in a while in a way that you might not. Okay, maybe you get scammed by somebody. You'll make so much more money in other ways that it just doesn't even matter. It just won't even matter. And finally, the thing that most people never think about is that by giving yourself the short end from the very beginning, if you want consistent referrals, this is the only way to operate. There is no other shortcut to referrals. There's no system to referrals. There's no method to getting referrals. There's no techniques or set of hacks that you can use to get referrals without giving yourself the short end. This is the foundation of all referrals. Because think about it. When your referrals are not where you want them to be, in some industries, an exemplary referral rate is 25%. In some industries, an exemplary referral rate is 90%. It really depends on the industry. But if they're not where you want yours to be, if your referrals are average, like 4 or 5%, 10%, that kind of thing, then you're giving an average, decent, good customer service experience. That just means that when people give referrals and get referrals, they're getting way more than an average, like, I got what I paid for. When someone feels they got exactly what they paid for, that is not a referral experience, period. You have to give them so much more than what they feel they paid for. Like, how can I ever repay you should be what you're going for there. And so we really focus on referrals here with referral systems. But when we deal with clients, we have to make sure that that client's foundational experience on the back end fits with the sales experience, that giving sales experience we give them on the front end. And it fits with the referral processes we put in place and the testimonial processes we put in place and the upsell processes we put in place on the back end. So it all has to match. Jason, do you have any thoughts on the matching there?
I guess we could go back to the flow of energy. It's radiating from you, it goes to a customer, and then it continues to move on from that customer out to new prospects, right?
Yeah.
And that's sort of the referral energy. And one more thing I'd like to remind people about, if people don't know anything about what you know or do, how are they ever going to find you? Right?
Yeah.
You have to be sharing.
Right.
There's a great guy named Michael Hiles who I go to a lot
I
for
love
big
Michael.
data expertise.
Right.
And I asked a question about security of logins and how people were moving towards one kind of master login that goes to everything else, right?
Yeah.
And says, this is who I am online, right?
Yeah.
And a bunch of people gave me very stupid, snarky answers, and he was the only one who came back with a good, quick, in-depth explanation of how that worked for me to quickly understand and get up to close to his level of understanding about it.
Yeah.
And so he's the guy that I remember to think about and refer other people to when it comes to high-end big data computer type applications.
Right. Michael is a very generous guy. I agree with you entirely. He's fantastic. He's a great example of that. Folks, if you want to see somebody who's a great example of giving on Facebook in that technology area, programming, technology, security, all that stuff, Michael Hiles is, I'll link to him below the video
How
on
did
the
this turn
Facebook
into a
thing.
Michael Hiles commercial?
Yeah, exactly. It's all good. It's all good. It's part
But
of
we
that
wanted to talk
generosity.
about
Why
more
not?
specific examples and stories for people. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
works.
So, well, that's pretty much it for this time. So give 1, give 2, and give 3. It will not hurt you. It can only help you, and it'll help you in so many different ways. And thanks for joining us. Until next time, let us know what you need help with. Oh, yes. Sorry. Go ahead.
Nothing. I thought you were going to do the I'm Jeremy Pope.
Oh, yeah. I'll do it. Fine. Until next time, I'm Jeremy Pope.
And I'm Jason Campbell.
There we go. At
Go get us.
theclosingengine.com. Helping you accelerate your high-ticket sales.